finally done. The draft is done. Broncos country, we're here to break it down. Woo. We'll tell you about the players who bring the power. This is horsepower.
That is right. We have a very, very special edition of Horsepower Hour with our main man, Dak, joining the show today alongside my buddy Jeremy. The other two, man, David and Kodiak, weren't able to make it tonight, but we are very blessed to have Dak join the show. Dak, how you feeling, man?
Blessed to be here, man. When you said, can you ride with us today? I was like, hell yeah, bro. I mean, we haven't done anything like this in a while. We were just talking behind the scenes since the draft, right? There was a lot of bloopers in the back and all that. But glad to be here with you guys now. The off season's over. Football is here. Actual football, too.
I know. And speaking of bloopers, actually, right before we went live, Dak did say, let's ride. He did. So make sure in the comments, you guys roast them in the comments. All right? Roast them hard. Jeremy, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good to see you guys. I'm glad to be here.
Likewise, man. Likewise. So camp starts tomorrow. It's open to the public, I guess, on Friday. So I'm pumped up about it. And we'll open it up, just to start with everything. I guess the first big news before camp that came out was the Ben Powers restructure of the contract. So, Dak, I'm curious, being the honorary guest, what were your initial thoughts on it? Do you have, is it good, negative, bad, indifferent? How you feeling about Ben Powers redoing his deal?
I just kind of feel like maybe it lessens and might frees up some more money for us, maybe to sharpen some of the deficiencies that we have on this roster, like maybe bringing a veteran inside linebacker, because I'm pretty stressed about that position. There is question marks regardless if there's young talent there, right? And then, hey man, it'll be interesting to see if something happens maybe with Cage Casey, right? Maybe he gives him a run for his money, but that's what came to my mind, is maybe there's some more cap space freed up to sign somebody else.
Yeah, we'll see. We got a lot now. I think we're going to have like 36 million or something for this year. So we'll see how much we use, how much we move over. Jeremy, what were your thoughts initially on the Ben Powers move?
Probably needed to happen. He was probably understood kind of what time it was for his time at the Broncos. So I think it's just beneficial for everybody. It's good for him. It's good for us. It's interesting. Anytime a player takes like a pay cut, people treat it differently than getting just a raise. Like you overdo your contract, Pat Surtain, we're gonna give you a little bump. You underdo it, take a little cut. And there's not a lot of franchises that's able to happen. But I think when you are a franchise where you want to be there, players are more willing to do that because they want to be on the team. And they understand what has happened in the past, whether it's injuries or they haven't played as well or whatever it is. So I think it's just great to keep that position strong and also kind of address it from a monetary situation, like where it needs to be. We didn't get the exact numbers, but they said it was significant, but also starter money. So bottom end starter money is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think this is a definition to me of a win-win for everybody. A lot of people think, well, how is it a win for Ben Powers if he took a pay cut? But getting guaranteed salary is great, because if he didn't make this team, and there was certainly, like, I put it at less than a 50% chance that he would prior to this, he wasn't going to get any of that money. So it's nice that he gets a little bit of a guaranteed there, a little bit of freedom, and, he can still ride. So it's wonderful for the Broncos, the continuity. I think the O-line, it's one of the biggest strengths of the team, and then it doesn't force like guys like potentially like Cage Casey or if Nick Gargiulo is to come back healthy at some point. It doesn't really force those guys to have to produce right away. They can develop on their own terms, and we won't really lose a beat. So I love it. I'm all for Ben Powers. It definitely changes my 53-man roster prediction now. So I'll be curious as to, like, is there anybody that you guys can think of maybe off the top of your heads where you're like, oh, this could mean trouble for X player? Or is it just like maybe doesn't have any kind of, it's not related to anything else other than that?
The main relation I just saw is that Nick Gargiulo starting on the pup. So if one triggered maybe the other, like Ben, we'll keep you because now he's kind of still dealing with stuff. So that was the only tie that I could come up with immediately. But yeah,
I don't think that was by accident.
No.
Right, it was the Nick Gargiulo stuff. But a lot of guys had, like, for example, like Tyler Miller, the UDFA. Some guys had him making this team, or I had what's his name, Gavin Ortega making the team actually instead of Tyler Miller, because he has some guard tackle flexibility. So, it could mean bad things for those guys potentially. But I guess we'll go ahead and see how it turns out. All right, so now that we got camp tomorrow, guys, anything, Dak, I'll start with you. Anything that you feel like you want to talk about, that you're most excited about with camp, or maybe something that isn't being talked about nearly as much that should be?
Oh man, I think the thing that it's just a concern, right? Like, I know the inside linebacker position is it's just a glaring need for sure. Like, and we've talked about it leading up even to training camp. Throughout the off season, it's been an issue throughout the past 2 off seasons. And the thing is, bro, is like, yes, I know we can be excited about these young prospects, but there's still question marks, right? I think being at the inside linebacker position is one of the hardest to evaluate when coming, out of the draft, these prospects. It's the quarterback of the defense, right? Especially if they're going to be the Green Dot or what have you, to potentially replace Alex Singleton, because he's not going to be here. He's not the long-term answer at the position, right? So you do have a bunch of guys, but that's it, right? That are just question marks, in my opinion. They're young commodities that you don't really know. Could they project to be something special? Sure, yeah. But until they play on the field and you see what they are, you really don't know, right?
Yep.
So what I would say is, and then especially now with the news with Turner, starting on the PUP list or whatever,
NFL,
that's a guy that I had that was on my radar potentially to be in their mix for that inside linebacker 3 spot in rotation. Murdoch now, and what's the other gentleman's name out of A&M? Drawing a York. So those guys.
Don't forget my guy Torian York, bro.
Yeah,
No
I'm
disrespect.
sorry. Whew. So many names though, right? Like, so many names that you have to think about that can be slotted in that spot. But the competition there is going to be interesting for me when it comes to the inside linebacker position, because that is a position that's going to make an impact, because you're going to have to. Alex Singleton's not going to be on the field all the time. Either is Justin Strnad, right? So who are your guys that are going to really step up and make an impact and make a name for themselves in training camp? There's a long list of names who it will be. Like Lavelle Bailey, like he was spoken around this time last year. He was a hot commodity name, and then he didn't make the 53 man. I felt like he could. He didn't, but he's a guy too that we can't forget about. So very interesting, that inside linebacker position. Big question mark.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be huge, man. I couldn't agree with you more. And it seems like this is just how Sean and George Payton are fine operating. Like, they don't emphasize the inside linebacker all that much. They want like solid guys, but nothing crazy. But it is funny because last year, we were very lucky with the health of our inside linebackers for the most part. I mean, Alex Singleton only missed the game. Justice Tornado was healthy for most of the season. But people forget that we had Dre Greenlaw, who obviously missed a lot of time as well. But now it's like, injuries happen to those positions. Those guys are aging. Right. So who is going to be the next, Dre Greenlaw? Like you said, I think if it's one of these young guys in Murdoch or in York, I think one of those guys will play quite a bit actually this year, whoever makes it. And who knows, man, maybe there's Drew Sanders. But how about you, Jeremy? Any thoughts on that, or anything that you're also, looking forward to at camp?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I think it's going to be, that's the main position. I think that's kind of the number one where people are wondering what's going on. But I'm excited to see how the wide receivers stack up with an addition of Jalen Waddle. Like, everybody kind of went to a different slot, that's going to be interesting to see. I'm interested to see how the running backs look. And the other one, I mean, the main one is like Jonathan Cooper was kind of a quiet, but like we just didn't even have to worry about that position for the last couple of years. He was just solid there, ripping around the corner, and we knew it was going to happen. And just now you got the second stringers who we really like, Jonah Ellis, those kind of guys. But until you see them step up as starters, it's just you don't know. So there's a bunch of positions, and backup quarterback would be interesting. Is going to be an interesting one to look at too.
Yep. I think there's a lot of good camp storylines. I'm glad you mentioned the edge rusher room with Cooper because there's obviously some uncertainty there. But, man, we talk a lot about Jonah Ellis and Dondrea Tillman, rightfully so. But we cannot forget about Q Robinson and just how good he looked later in that year and the kind of impact. And I think aside from the off-the-field stuff with Jonathan Cooper, it could just be guys like Jonah Ellis, Dondrea Tillman, and Q Robinson playing so well that maybe it forces it tips the scale a little bit, not in the favor of Jonathan Cooper, which again, for me, I'm saying keep all the edge rushers. You cannot have enough of that position for sure, especially how we rotate. But Q Robinson, man, is someone I'm very much looking forward to seeing as well. And then you talked about the D line, Jeremy. So
I did.
What are your thoughts on the Broncos potentially pursuing? I know we saw Vita Vea was available yesterday, or potentially available, right, via trade. I think he ultimately stays in Tampa. But what's your level of interest in bringing him in, Jeremy? And what would you be willing to give up for him?
Man, I honestly haven't thought about what the compensation would be, but yeah, I would be definitely interested to bring him in if you could. He's an exciting player. I mean, I don't think it would be too much because what is he? What's his age? I think he's like 30. But yeah, I mean that's a position where you lost. That was our biggest offseason loss. Was who am I thinking of?
JFM.
Yeah, JFM. So bringing someone like that in, there would be no drop off, maybe even an upgrade. So yeah, that would be stopping the run is when that's playoff football, right?
Yeah.
That's the part where it matters. I don't know if you need him for the first part of the season, middle of the season. It's the end of the season. Things are cold, and you need to stop that run. You're in a 10-7 AFC championship game. You never know why, but you're going to just need players like that. If you win the trenches, you should have a good year.
Man.
No doubt. Dak, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say definitely push your chips in for Vita Vea. Just looking at our front seven versus Tampa Bay's and the amount of one-on-ones that this guy would get in Denver versus Tampa Bay, bro, because of our front seven being so nasty versus what there is in Tampa, right? Let's call it what it is. That dude, I mean, commands some type of double teams, right, in Tampa. Over here, it's just a game changer for him. And we just touched on the inside linebacker position. Like, he helps lessen the blow in the run game specifically, right? Not allow because his impact, not allowing guys to get to that second level, would make a huge difference, man. I don't know what the trade compensation would be, but that's a guy that I would definitely trade for to bring him here to Denver.
Yeah, Richie Rich saying trade Jones. I'm guessing he needs DJ Jones for Vita Vea. I mentioned that yesterday in a video when I talked about this, but then I thought about it a little bit more. And I was like, why would we give up DJ Jones? Like, why not just give draft picks if they need it or somebody else and keep DJ Jones? Because I think a lot of us, at least for me, I had forgotten about before I made that video was how unbelievably loved DJ Jones is here. Mm-hmm. Like, he's definitely one of the leaders on the team and the guys that are most respected. And I thought he was phenomenal. I think he had his best year last year. And it's like they don't have to, it doesn't have to be one for the other because Vita Vea can play. He can play DJ Jones's position, but he can also play what JFM played on the outside, over the B gap and be a little bit more of a rush end. And it's like, dude, the more the merrier for me at that point with Vita Vea. But I mean, I look at it like this, dude, like the Broncos are in a Super Bowl window. You saw what the Rams are doing. I guess the Rams are the favorite to land Vita Vea. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm like, dude,
I did not.
Like, the rich keep getting richer. They get Myles Garrett. They're probably going to get Aaron Donald back, and then they get Vita Vea. Like, that should be borderline illegal. So I think the Broncos should make a trench move like that, and it would make sense. You could even, you lost GFM, so you're going to probably get a 4th round compensatory pick. You could trade that 4th round compensatory pick for him. Essentially, you're saying JFM, for Vita Vea, which I would have done any day of the week. And then you're not going to pay him as much as people think. And the good news is like you can just give him like a really big pay raise for this year, and all that money will go against the cap this year, which we have money, and then work out a long-term deal later on. But definitely can make it work. I'm all for it, man. For me, it's like, yeah, just like Richie Rich says, dude, Vea, Jones, Roach, Zach Allen. And you know
see?
that D line is crazy. And then like we already led the league in sacks the last 2
Oh,
seasons. I think we might break the record if we had somebody like Vita Vea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hell yeah, I'm all on the Vita Vea train. That's his name's actually kind of harder to say when you keep
Especially
saying it,
fast,
Vita Vea. But
you know.
yeah, Vita Vea. But anything else, man? Anything else from camp tomorrow? You know that you're really hoping to hear or see, or man, it's because it's make or break year for a lot of players. Like, I guess for me, I'll start by like I'm excited to hear about Caleb Lohner. I know he's going to be full go, which is good. I want to see him flash, and I want to see that start early. And I'm actually really excited about Drew Sanders, believe it or not. Like, this is his last opportunity. And if it's a big if, but if he can stay healthy, maybe we have a legitimate solution at the inside linebacker position with someone like him. Because again, he brings an element, and his body type is so much different than what it is that we have. And so I just feel like it's crucial that he stays healthy and is able to play this year.
He does have like that athletic, ability, sideline to sideline type of guy. But like you said, the biggest question mark is if, right? Like, I don't know, man. I've stopped drinking from the Kool-Aid because I've been got twice with his injuries. But they did keep him out all last season, maybe to kind of keep him fresh for this season to really give him a shot, right?
Yep.
So it's to be seen, like you said. But he would definitely, if he pans out, the Broncos just can only, what do you call it? I'm trying to benefit from it. Yeah, dude. So it's
well, and dude, I'm not like so I'll say like I ain't drinking from the Kool-Aid. I've learned my lesson with that. I think we've all like,
yeah, it's
jumped
good.
on that.
It's
But
cool,
for me,
yeah.
it's like I just want to see him be healthy. I don't even care if he doesn't look good in camp. If he starts off slow, maybe he looks lost. I don't really care. It's like, did Drew Sanders make it out of camp, or was he able to just stack days and not have his body break down? That's all I'm looking forward to. But Jeremy, where are you at on Drew Sanders? I think it's been a while since you brought up or talked about Drew Sanders, because
Yeah.
I think it's been the case for everybody. He's been kind of like the forgotten man.
Yeah.
So if you look at Justin Strnad, he didn't hit till later on in his career. So you're like, okay, there's a good example of a guy like that who's going to hit, who it still can happen. Now, the one thing I will say that is negative towards Drew Sanders is the reason why Justin Strnad took a while is because he kept getting injured, and that was the problem. Drew Sanders also dealt with injury, but when Drew Sanders was on the field, it seemed like it was a processing issue, not a physical issue. It wasn't like he was exactly where he was supposed to be all the time, and then he got injured and now he couldn't get on the field. So that's the part that is more worrisome for me, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know where to be and you're not in the right places at that position, you're not going to get on the field, and they're not going to trust you. So that's the part where I hope there's been some.
But they seem to love
progress.
him. Like, they really like it. It feels like if he's had a chance to play, they'll play him. Which is weird.
If you noticed, the times when he's made big plays is when they were like, don't worry about where you're supposed to be. Just go get the quarterback. And then it was like, oh my gosh, he looks unbelievable, like blitzing or whatever. It's the part where it's just like you have to diagnose things on the fly and be in there. That's the part that he's been off. So he's had a lot of time to learn.
Yep.
So let's hopefully, my fingers crossed, but I wouldn't put any money down.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't either.
No,
I
that's
definitely
fair.
would not either.
I would.
Go ahead, Doug.
I wanted to ask you guys, like, where is your mindset in terms of the safety position, the depth, right? We lost PJ Locke. He went to Dallas. Who's going to fill that void too, right? I really liked, we did enjoy PJ Locke as a depth piece, right? Because he had the ability to come in and start at least, and you felt pretty good about it, right? Was he like, the guy, of course, like that? You're like, oh yeah, he's a star, whatever. No. but he provided legitimate depth for us, and just got stability when somebody was injured, like Brandon Jones. Um, Shout out to him because he made a play, and I think in the Bills game, right in the postseason, uh, big play, big interception. PJ Locke had.
Yeah.
Was it a
So
pick?
Huge.
yeah,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, PJ Locke was balling last year.
It was
Yeah,
right after we
so-
turned it over. He got it right back, and I was like, "Oh,
Who-
that was huge."
who's next in line to take that leap forward for us in the safety position, right? Because we've drafted Miles Scott, we have JL Skinner, we have Devin Key, but and I'm sure there's another name that I'm not remembering.
We
right now.
re-signed Tyson Anderson. Yeah.
There you
Or
go.
we didn't re-sign him.
Yeah.
We signed him from the Bengals. So.
Right. So who's the guy in the mix that's going to be that guy for us, right? So that's a big question mark. I'm curious to see who takes like a leap ahead and leads for that safe third
Yeah.
safety, right?
I think it's a huge question mark, man. No doubt about it. I think that the leader in the clubhouse is definitely Devin Key. We know he's making the team.
Yeah.
What kind of safety can he be?
All
We'll
pro.
see. And then JL Skinner is a hell of a special teamer too.
Mhm.
So, I mean, both those guys might make the team just because of special teams, and then maybe Miles Scott. Usually I like to think that like draft picks will make the team 53, but it might be really hard for Miles Scott to get on there. But then also, there might be like a depth veteran guy that becomes available after cuts that you can bring in and sign to the practice squad and move up if you need to. But it's a huge question mark, man. I'm glad that you brought it up because that's going to be one of the really fun battles in camp to watch. I don't have Tyson Anderson making this team. Do we keep 5 safeties? That would be a little bit, unique.
Yeah,
If we go
that
with
would
4, it's going to be a hell of a battle. A hell of a
it is.
battle, which makes me think, maybe Brandon Jones's roster spot this year isn't as safe as we all think it is. I think it should be, but it's something worth noting, especially if a couple guys pop off. But Jeremy, any thoughts on the safety position?
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting. That depth, because I think Jones and Hufanga are they're not in pen, but they're
Okay.
in strong pencil. But I mean, they've shown if they're healthy, that's it. And if Hufanga if all Hufanga needs to do is just stick him on his hands, and he's an
Baller,
all
man.
pro. He's a
Mhm.
top 100 player. Like, he looked amazing. So,
Mhm.
I know that's a focus of his this offseason was to work on that. So yeah, that depth is going to be huge because, like PJ Locke proved, like, you never know when you're going to need to step in, and we might not beat the Bills without him. You don't know how that game goes. That's one of those plays that kind of went under the radar a little bit, and they had all the momentum at that time. And if you
Yeah.
remember, and so
And that must have been awesome for him because he did not have a good game the year before against the Bills.
right.
And so to be
Yeah.
able to also be starting in that game and ball out the way that he did was
He got his lick back for sure.
yeah, was truly special. What
I
about
would
go ahead.
I would say too, like real quick with the safety position, like thinking about Miles Scott, I feel like ball skills really translates to the NFL level. Like you have that feel for the game, where the ball's going, and I feel like maybe Miles Scott will have something to say about that third safety position because of the ball skills that he has. I mean, and he can hold on to the ball because he's been a wide receiver.
Right.
No shout
Yeah.
out our boy to Hufanga, but right, like he can
Yeah.
catch that ball. It's proven that he can. So I don't know.
And there was coaches that were formerly at Illinois. There was, Pat was formerly in Illinois. Like, he was talked very highly of when we drafted him.
Mhm.
So even though he's kind of a back end draft pick, I don't consider him like that. I consider him like somebody that the coaches are very, very excited to get their hands on. So I could definitely see, if you hear things about him looking sharp early in camp, that will be a great sign.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a unique breed, man. Like he's a little bit older. He's played in 55 games in college, started 37. He's a big body guy. Like, yeah,
All the
I think
experience on him.
Miles Scott could end up being a baller, and if he can look really good on special teams, which I don't see why he couldn't, given the athleticism that he's got,
Mm-hmm.
he could be a not I wouldn't say a surprise to make the 53 because he's a draft pick, but he could be maybe like a surprise depth piece that sees the field in certain packages and all that. But it is crazy that guys like him fall as much as they do, man. Like when you hear like the character checks out, right? The production on the field checks out, the all this, and you're like, why the hell did he fall so much? I mean, 2 or more interceptions every single year that he was starting. He has 11 pass breakups in his career. He's got a couple, forced fumbles, tackling machine. Like Miles Scott was a baller, so I have him on the 53.
I would also, yeah, for sure. I would also say like Jahdae Barron, and I know it's probably crazy, but I mean, I just remember just George Payton after they drafted him, just the praise they gave him of him, how versatile Jahdae was, and then him being a weapon, right? Like you can have weapons on defense. Like, does he get a good amount of run, like as a chess piece for this defense? Does Vance Joseph dig a little deeper in his bag and utilize him in certain ways that we hadn't seen last year? Because he didn't have many snaps last year, right? But you want to give this guy, you want to make that draft pick pan out at least hopefully in year 2, right? Because you spent a first round pick on him. So that's going to be interesting for me to see maybe if you see some wrinkles thrown in training camp. And maybe not, right? Maybe they save that for the season, but it's just something that I would look into or keep on our radar.
Well, Riley Moss, he didn't hit till season 2. And to see Jahdae come in and kind of sit there and learn all that stuff and get to watch everything. Also, there's big contracts in that position coming up too for Riley and those other guys. So I definitely think they're going to give him some opportunities to show what he can do and what he's learned. So that's a big one. I mean, this is a great opportunity for him. Yeah. I mean, I love Riley, and I would love to have all the cornerbacks. Give me, a whole room of cornerbacks that are good because you can't ever have enough. But yeah, this is going to be a big offseason or a big, preseason for Jahdae for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely there's probably not a bigger Riley Moss truther in Broncos country than Jeremy. And rightfully so. I get it. I always respected like how much he stood on business for Riley Moss, and I can understand why. But this kind of gets me thinking, like, I don't know if have you guys done any kind of like projected 53-man rosters, like in your head, not necessarily, just like went through it. No. So anybody watching as well, and you guys, I implore you to just go try it, right? And you'll realize that, damn, man, we have a really deep roster, which is a great problem to have. But I think that it could result in maybe a couple, 2, maybe 3 guys getting traded or surprise cuts or something that we move on from in order to make this whole roster puzzle work. Because there's a lot. Is there anyone like offhand that you guys can think of like, man, this guy could potentially get traded? Like, we've talked a lot about the corners. I think it makes sense with Jahdae, right? Like whether it's J-Mac maybe being traded or Ryan Moss.
Mims is at the top of my list, bro, because I feel like he doesn't really fit what we're looking for right now at wide receiver. We have guys that can do a lot of what Mims his role was in this offense. Look at Jalen Waddle, like we talked about, being, that versatile web piece or whatever. He can do jet sweeps and stuff like that. RJ Harvey can probably do some stuff out the backfield as well that you utilized Mims in, right, and package in those type of packages. So, yeah, dude, Mims is at the top of my list because I feel like maybe other teams around the league feel like maybe there's some untapped potential. But maybe you trade a Marvin Mims for an inside linebacker, and maybe there's guys on rosters that we don't know is available, but our GM is aware that, hey, these guys, they're looking to cut this dude or trade him. They need a wide receiver, right? And before, like, Jordan Brooks got that extension, I was like, hey, they kind of they could use a wide receiver, right? Marvin Mims would be a guy. I was looking at maybe a swap and then maybe a pick. I don't know what the compensation would be to bring in Brooks. That would have been something cool.
Yeah, that'd be
cool.
But
Mims just comes off to the top of my head, bro, for a trade players.
No doubt. Jeremy, you got anybody you're thinking of?
I think I'm circling that tight end room. Like, what are they going to do? Because it's just been like underachievement in our eyes,
right?
As fans. Now they all tell you they're doing what the coaches asked them to do, and they're doing all that stuff. But like the production speaks for itself, or lack of production speaks for itself.
Mhm.
And maybe that's not what they want him to do. Maybe they want him to block for the wide receivers. Maybe they want to block for the running backs. I don't know, but that's you got two in the draft that I'm very excited to watch.
Right.
And then he spoke up Cloner, and then Evan Ingram's on the second year, and then Troutman saying he just got paid handsomely for what he does or does not do, whatever. And then you got Atkins coming back. So
Yeah.
that's just, I don't know where that room's going to be. That's the one I'm going to be like very interested to see what happens with the 53. Because if they think they're going to be able just to keep the same people and then slip in Bentley and Joe Lee to the practice squad, I doubt it.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a wild room. So like even when I did my 53, I had us keeping 6 tight ends with Atkins is like the fullback.
Yeah.
You know, because I think Troutman, whether we like it or not, he's making this team. I think
He
Nate
is.
Atkins is making this team as well, understandably so. I think both of the tight ends that we drafted will also make the team. So that's already 4.
Yeah.
I don't see a situation where we have the luxury of moving on from Evan Ingram unless these guys really pop off.
That's a youth.
And then
movement.
I think Caleb Lohner is a legitimate thing also. So it's like,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the easy thing to do would just be like, you know what, Caleb Lohner's way too big of a long shot. You move on from him.
Yeah.
But that's still 5 guys. It's a super crowded room, and it's weird because it's historic. Like it's been really bad. And the best way, like, there's 2 ways that you solve a really bad positional group. You either like invest heavy resources, whether it be a high draft pick or a big money free agent, and address it, or you just get a lot of guys and see who pans out. So I like how we're doing it, but it's going to be probably my favorite camp battle to watch is that room and just how it ends up working out. But I mean, you had said it, Dak, like I love Marvin Mims. I've always been a Marvin Mims truther, but he could be on the outs potentially to keep an extra tight end. And maybe you roll with 4 wide receivers, have a few on practice squad, and then mix in a tight end on certain packages, you know, like Joe Lee's a really good athlete, or maybe even Caleb Lohner to be able to like be that wide receiver 5 role in certain packages. I mean, I don't know how thin you want to be somewhere, how deep, but it's going to be pretty fascinating to watch.
I'm excited, and to the wide receivers, I'm excited to see Butler, the UFL
Hakeem
guy.
Butler?
I want to see him, right? Because he does have that. He is that Sean Payton archetype, you know, of wide receiver. You know, that big body with some speed. He is explosive. I'm kind of wondering what he'll do with this other opportunity now in the NFL. And maybe
Yep.
he surpasses little Jordan Humphrey, and you get him off the roster. Not that I'm a hater on little Jordan, but
No, for
you know,
sure. I think
definitely.
that's a really big possibility because he kind of projects to be in that role, right?
yeah.
But I do want to address this. Martin said Mims may be superfluous at wide out, but not as a returner. If he had answer for a returner, we would trade him. Obviously, I agree with you being an all pro returner, but dude, I feel like, and maybe coaches don't feel like this, but as a fan, I always have, like, having a really good punt returner is awesome, but is it that important? Like, how often? I know you could talk about the Raiders game last year, or whatever. I think we still win that game, but how often, like, does that particular role win you a game? That role loses you a game a lot more often than does win you a game. So it's like, yes, it's important, and it would still be nice to have Mims as the return man. But if we lost Marvin Mims, I don't think it's like, oh my God, who's gonna, return punts?
No.
I feel like you could figure out somebody that's halfway decent.
And there's a kid that we brought in Colby Katzis out of Northern Arizona that I think could be the replacement, the long-term future punt
Totally.
returner for us. His RAS score was like 9 point something. I like RAS scores too. I like athletic
Yeah,
guys.
you're a big
But he
RAS
also
guy.
plays the wide receiver position. He could play that role at a cheaper price than what Marvin Mims would get extended to be.
Yep. And same with Cam Ross. Cam Ross was a hell of a returner in his career too. So
There you go.
And what's nice about having those guys, like, just think about it this way. Let's say, for the sake of argument, let's say Marvin didn't make this team. All right. You could put both of those guys on the practice squad, elevate one of them for the first 3 games, elevate the other one for the other 3 games. You've taken care of the punt return situation for the first 6 games. Then at that point, you can figure it out who you elevate up or how you move from there. So there's a lot of, like, their roster flexibility by being able to be on the practice squad is helpful too. So I don't think that'll happen. I think most likely Marvin Mims will probably stay, but this is what these conversations are for us to just think of, because we think we know, man, and we'd never know, especially
Bro.
with George and Sean Payton, bro.
And it was
Especially.
crazy, right? Yeah, for sure. And it was crazy because last year, like, nobody had any clue that Devon Bailey was going to be shipped out, bro. Like, we all thought, oh, he's going to be here. He's going to be maybe, here for the long term future. We didn't know. He was shipped out because Pat Bryant and someone in camp stood out and made it to where now he's expendable, right? So now, we're going to see that this year. Like, there's going to be some players in camp who ball out, and even in the preseason that make these other guys that maybe that we mentioned expendable.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think it's gonna be fascinating to watch. And it's just like it was funny when I talked about how we think we know everything, but it's unpredictable with with the staff. Like, dude, Dak, think about how many Twitter interactions you've had, me and you've had. Jeremy, think about all the times like on Horsepower Hour we talked about like these free agents and those free agents, and we got none of them, dude. Not one. Like we were all because they just didn't even sign anybody. They're like, no, we're good. So yeah, you truly don't know, but I think there's a lot of a lot of situations there. And then he said when Mims was out last year with the concussions, we struggled. Or am I remembering wrong? We didn't struggle, I don't think, from a returning standpoint. I think we were fine. Might have been the Jacksonville game. As a team, we didn't look very good. I'm trying to remember. I'll find it.
I do know that Homeboy fumbled it. What's the one that was on the practice squad? Michael Bandy.
Oh,
Bandy
was that last
fumbled.
year?
But that was last
did
year.
we recover it?
I don't remember if we lost the ball. Like if we regained. I'm trying to think.
I think you might be right.
But Michael Bandy.
I don't know
messed
why
up,
I'm
right?
thinking of like the Christmas Day game against the Patriots from 2 years ago, and it was Marvin that actually fumbled. But
That's
I
fair.
think y'all might be right. I'm trying to remember.
But even
might
so,
have been
the
doing a little bit
following
too
week,
much.
I feel like he cleaned it up and he was better. But like, I just don't, like you said, it's just not that drastic for me personally, and maybe for you too. Like the punt returner position,
Yeah.
I feel, can it flip the field? Sure, but like how many
Yeah.
times, bro? Like, you know what I mean?
And also, I think we'll be a lot more prepared this year to have someone replace Marvin rather than like it just be Michael Bandy, because that was a
Right.
little bit of a that was a little frustrating for sure to see. But
I would say that it's not necessarily the yards that you gain from a punt return; it's the momentum swap that you get.
That's a good point.
That's kind of the more like, oh shoot, he just ripped. Like we were in trouble and we just got the ball back, and now we're in great field position. Now we need one first down for a field goal. That's when it's valuable. The thing that's so tough
good
about
point.
Marvin Mims, we wanted to see more production than we've seen overall, but when it is absolute crunch time, that dude is clutch. He always comes up with a big play. Even if the ball's not even thrown to him, he's in the right place at the right time and makes that catch. And there's just been like Bengals. We're throwing it up. He's making a catch in the end zone. What was the
Browns
game this
game was
last
crazy.
year? We were throwing Cortland on a dig, and he threw it a little early, and it ended up going straight to Marvin, and he grabbed it. He wasn't expecting to, and
yeah,
it came
he's
to
a
him.
stud.
How do we beat the Bills? Because Marvin ran that route correctly, and the guy had to, interfere with them. So he would be a tough one to lose, not because just of the punt returning ability, which is underrated, but there's just something about him that I trust in the clutch more than somebody like Troy Franklin. But I feel like Troy Franklin is more productive other times throughout the season. So
maybe now with Troy Franklin working as hard as he had this offseason, Pat Bryant, maybe they make it to where the Broncos are more comfortable moving on from Marvin Mims, right? Maybe they do show us something now to where what you said. So yeah, it'll be interesting for sure though, bro.
And he's short, and we got another short guy, and they don't necessarily like short guys. So is that another reason why he might be,
You gotta be this tall to ride this ride, you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. You can only have 2 short wide receivers, and we just traded a lot for a real short one. So.
We did. Yeah, but at least he's a dog. We know he's a dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Explosive.
Yeah. That we know that he is a dog. All right, let me hold on. Oh. I'm like struggling to find when the hell Michael Bandy played. I don't know, it's like bothering the hell out of me. Let me see when it was.
I hate when there's like something
the
that
Commanders
comes up
game?
and
Yeah,
Maybe it
I
was.
think it was the Commanders game. I believe it was.
I
Yeah,
remember him
think it was
scoring a
that.
touchdown.
Who, Bandy?
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah, Bandy
against
scored a touchdown against the
Packers?
Packers. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That
it wasn't. It
Bo
wasn't the
Nix was
Commanders
like, you
game.
get a touchdown, you get a touchdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody getting touchdowns. Or it might have been, what was the, oh, he got hurt. That's right. He got hurt against the Cowboys. So who did we play after the Cowboys? Now I got to find all this shit out.
Hmm.
The
No,
Texans.
isn't it weird how like you have an off season and your brain just gets wiped?
Dude, and it's like such an age thing because when I was a kid, or like even like 10 years ago, it was like, I know the game, I'll tell you the score, I'll tell you exactly who played. Now it's like everything just like runs over each other. You don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all a blur.
My daughter's
Yeah.
the same exact way. And I'm like, I remember having that type of where I remembered every little detail of every little thing. And now it's just like, I don't remember.
Yeah,
just
it was
goes-
against the Texans. It was against the Texans.
Okay. Okay.
You know, it was that one time. You know, it
Yeah.
was, you know, yeah.
Bandy had four punt returns for 30 yards and a fumble. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tough.
that wasn't good.
Yeah. Martin says against Houston.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Martin.
Houston,
Could have
we
saved me a
had a
lot of time if
problem.
you just wrote that 3 minutes ago.
Oh, it was like 3 minutes.
Damn it. I'm just kidding.
We wanted to see him under pressure.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, yeah, I mean, I think like again, the tight end room is going to be fascinating to watch. I think the backup quarterbacks is, you know, I just can't see a situation where we keep 3 this year. Like it doesn't make sense. We have way too many good guys. Here's something I was thinking about like an hour before the show started when I was driving home. Are we too comfortable with Will Lutz as our kicker? Or do you guys feel like we should bring in another kicker for competition just to kind of keep them a little bit hungry? Because I've always been up and down. Like I'm fascinated by kickers. I don't know if you guys knew that about me, but like I remember before we traded for Lutz, dude, I learned everything about football, like kicking in the NFL and what's good and what's not good and what teams you're looking for and who sucks and all that. We had like Brett Maher and another dude competing. We ended up trading for Lutz. But because it's hard as hell to find one. So when everyone was like excited that McManus was gone, I was like, be careful what you wish for because you see kickers so often, like teams so often have the worst kicking situations for God knows how long. I mean, like when's the last time there was
The
a good,
Vikings was the team, right? That always just can't find the damn kicker, right? I
the
feel like
Vikings, dude, the Jets for a long period of time, I think a decent amount, the Browns for a long time.
yeah,
Like
dude.
the Rams before they finally fixed it, I think this year, like
Yeah.
late in the year, they were losing games because of their kicker. The Buccaneers have had really bad luck.
Yep.
So it's like, I like Lutz, but I feel like every time it's a really big kick, not like a 38-yard game winner against, you know, the Texans or something like that, but like a big time kick.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he misses. Now he was a lot better last year, but what comes to mind was even in the NFC Championship game, like I get it snowing and it was a blizzard, but elite kickers make those kicks, man. And he ended up being
Adam
1 for
Vinatieri
3.
did.
Yeah, he was 0 for 2 that game.
Oh, it was awful. Yeah, we left 6 we left 6
You know,
points on the
so-
board. We would have won that game if he made both kicks.
So yeah, some kicker news. I mean, you guys think, I don't know, how you guys feeling about Will Lutz?
Man,
We know he ain't going nowhere.
That's
he's
that's
not
the
going
thing.
anywhere. Just it doesn't hurt to have competition, right? Because if you're not bringing in competition, then what are you doing as a team, as an organization? You're not trying to be better, right? If you're just sitting on your hands and you're just content with the status quo. So yeah, I mean, I would never be opposed to bringing in another kicker to have that level of competition for sure.
Uh-huh.
I wish I had the Cowboys kicker though, because that dude's a baller.
Oh, dude. Oh man. Like
Yeah.
Aubrey's a
you
beast.
could make the argument to me that Brandon Aubrey's worth a first round pick. Like
Boom.
you could make
He's
that
such a
argument to
baller,
me
dude.
because like,
In Denver.
dude, he's an absolute weapon.
Yes.
63 yards, no problem. He's making it. Like
Yeah.
he's cash.
What about the Jaguars kicker? Homeboy was kicking it from.
Well, he got a strong leg, but he's pretty inconsistent still.
Okay.
He's not as good. Like overall, he missed some pretty easy ones. But
Dicker the
But,
kicker's
dude, my
the
God.
baller.
Dicker the kicker's amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The
man.
thing-
I mean, it scares the shit out of me because like you barely think about it until you need it most. And when
Yeah.
we needed
Yeah.
it most last year, he wasn't good.
And I feel
That's
like with like our kicker, bro, I don't have that level of confidence like that we just raved about these other guys that we name dropped, right? Like there's levels to the kicker position, dude. And yeah, I feel like Lutz. I mean, he's serviceable, but like you
nah.
said, in the big moments, I feel like he just
Yeah.
falters.
I'm gonna push back a little bit. How many one score games did we win last year? How many times did we need to make a kick to beat the Chiefs or beat whoever? Like came down to the Commanders game, whatever. It was like I feel like he made a lot of big kicks last year. Now, I feel like the AFC Championship, the whole world was. I mean, Bo Nix breaks his ankle on a basic run. I mean, that game, that
Yeah,
game
that
was
was
not meant
tough.
for us to win, no matter what. To me, that I can just take that loss much easier because it was just like everything was already the wind,
Everything that went wrong went.
no,
There was a
yeah.
blizzard that came out of left field that we had no idea was coming.
I had a family member literally pass away at halftime of that game. Like that game was for me was like that wasn't happening. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. And that's not to excuse anything, but just I don't know. That game was just a weird one, right? But
Even
there was a lot of times that he made big kicks. And Sean, as far as giving him competition, I would say competition's good for almost everybody, but not everybody.
okay.
And I'll explain it with kickers because it's such there's so many people that have the ability to kick a ball straight when there's no pressure, but there's very few that have the ability to kick a ball long and straight when there's a ton of pressure because it's all mental. It's like it's not just physically doing it. That's why I like to play sports like basketball or pickleball or something where I get tons of chances all day long. So if I make a mistake, it's not like, oh, you made that one mistake that's writing on it. I got 50 other times to make up for it. Kicking, you might get one chance to make one kick, and that's it. So it's a totally different ball game. And if you bring someone in, I don't know how he's wired. Sean does know how he's wired. He's been with them for that long. He went to go get him. So Sean knows how to push and kind of steer him. I think if Sean thinks he needs competition, he'll give him competition. But I think if he doesn't feel like he needs it, he won't. But how many times did he take a timeout, yell at Will Lutz walking out onto the field and being like straight through, like, you know what I mean? But he's not like where most times you tell a kicker, you don't even look at him. You're just like, please just God make this, just don't even like it's like a no hitter or something.
Like
but
like college football last year's college football playoff when Scatterbo was playing up against the Texas Longhorns, and they were like hoping that he would make it. Maybe it was the year before.
Yeah.
But the Longhorns, dude, were just praying that they can make a kick to just win the damn game finally.
Right.
And like Sarkisian was just so pissed off because the kicker kept missing the damn field goals, dude.
Yeah, because it's mental. It's like a pressure thing. So until he has a year where I'm like, and all kickers do this too. McManus went through this. McManus was clutch, and then he had a roll where it's just like he was missing everything long.
Yeah. Dude, look at freaking Younghoe Koo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was so blown away because he was so unbelievably good for the first 2 years. And then he was horrible. He gets cut. And then he kicks the turf before he even kicks the ball. Like you talk about a mental game. And like you see it, like Jake Elliott was horrible last year after years of being one of the best in the NFL. Matt Gay was terrible last year after being one of the best in the NFL for a long time. Like guys will fall off. The Philly kicker. No, that's Jake Elliott. There's another one.
The Ravens kicker fall off
Justin Tucker.
Yeah. He fell off about as far off as you can fall, but
I can't even believe I did that.
But that was more like off the field stuff. But Graham Gano was so good for so long, and then he was horrible and he got injured. But so my thing is like it's more of like, man, I hope you can get some consistency from Will Lutz in his career. He's been very consistent, but if the yips happen, you scramble for a kicker. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I don't think you would bring him in for competition. It would just be like, let's take a look at him, give him an opportunity. And if we ever need him in the year, at least we know what we would have with whoever we brought in. But
I look at Will Lutz as really good, not elite, but really good. And
yes,
as a Broncos fan, am I willing to just settle for really good as a kicker? Yes, I am, because it's a hard thing to find an elite guy, and to move off of really good for the chance at elite when the swings are so massive.
Yeah.
I think I'm willing to say, and he's like Barnes says, we're not moving from him.
No,
That's
0%
Sean's
chance.
guy,
And
so.
I fully agree with you, Martin, like 100%. I just feel like it's one of those where like, man, you get a little bit comfortable and all of a sudden it bites you in the ass. So when I say bring in another guy just to see, again, it's to give him an opportunity. Like Will Lutz, actually, the reason he got the chance in New Orleans initially was because the Ravens brought in Will Lutz not to compete with Justin Tucker, who was the best in the NFL, but just to like see what he can do. Kick in the preseason. He looked really good. Sean Payton needed a kicker. Traded for Will Lutz. That's what happened. So yeah, I mean, kind of similar thing, kind of building out the infrastructure there. But man, I could talk kickers all day. I don't know why.
And
I've
real
always
quick,
been a sucker for that stuff.
I'll say something real quick because it was a little disrespectful. I called him serviceable. That's a little disrespectful. I'll be honest. So he is a good kicker, not just serviceable, but he's not elite. So I like the way you said that.
And I think Jeremy's got the right. No, I think Jeremy's got the right mindset though of like, because if you have a really solid kicker, you should be like great. But sometimes you get caught up where like, man, you see what these new school kickers are doing. Like, you see what the hell
Kicker
Brandon
envy.
Aubrey's doing and all.
Taking
and
it
you're
from
like,
the logo. Must be
damn,
nice.
like,
Some of these.
or with Justin Tucker in his prime, you're like, what a weapon! Like, you know how many games Justin Tucker has won for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens? Like, unbelievable amount of games that he's won for him. And so it's like, you just hope that, because you don't know, is Will Lutz going to win you a lot of games? Maybe not. You just hope that he doesn't lose you a lot of games. And he's kind of done that, but for the most part, I think he's been really good. So he'll be fine.
And historically, the Broncos have had some pretty good kickers. Like, I think Jason Elam should be in the Hall of Fame. Personally, that's where I'm at with him. And McManus's run when we needed him for the Super Bowl, that playoffs, was elite level.
Yeah.
So I can't complain too much about kickers, but it's like the punter situation forever here in Denver. It's like, how come everybody else gets like a guy can kick the crap out of the ball and we get guys that can't kick it 40 yards? What's going on? And yeah, I definitely understand. In Denver, you want a guy whose just leg is just out the door, and it's like, oh, we didn't get one first down, but we're still going to get a field goal.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and I liked Matt Prater. We're talking about past
Prater.
Matt Prater.
I think he was the best kicker in Broncos history.
Jesus, he was a monster too.
Matt Prater was
He's still
stupid
kicking
good.
in the NFL, right? Like,
Oh
Or
yeah,
did he
bro.
just
I remember vividly
Jesus.
with Matt Prater. If it was a 50+ yarder, I wasn't even worried. I'm like, he's
Confident.
making it. We
Yeah.
good. Like,
I felt that
not
way
even
too, bro.
stressed.
Well,
Not
remember
even
that
stressed.
Tebow year?
He was
Tebow
that
would
dude.
get us, and he's like, "Oh, it's going to be a 59-yarder to
Yeah,
tie."
it's
And
like,
it's
no
like, "Yeah,
problem.
well, Mac Prater will make it."
Yeah.
No problem.
That's not
But
true.
yeah, I mean, in his time here in Denver, Will Lutz, he was 88%, 91%, and 87.5%. So he's been very solid.
What
Now,
was Elam?
you'll be surprised if you looked at Jason Elam's year-over-year stats. It's actually not very impressive. He wasn't that
he
good
was
his whole
clutch,
career.
though.
He
Yeah.
was
The
clutch.
clutch moments.
That's the thing.
That's
He
crazy,
was
huh?
clutch, but
Yeah.
like his career field goal percentage is 80.7, which is actually very bad. Like under 40, under 84 is considered bad, in case you guys were all wondering.
But considering that eras too, because now if you kick 80, like it's horrible. But I mean, I remember going to the AFC Championship and winning the AFC Championship with the guy who didn't wear a shoe. Rich Carlos was kicking barefoot in the snow. Like, what are we doing?
This
Yeah.
snow is crazy.
And that ball might not have gone. That ball was as close to being not good as possible, but it worked out. But yeah, no, it's I don't see us unless there's a full on fall off with Lutz. We're not going to move off of him.
for sure.
And if that happens, they're going to have to scramble. But I mean, he's getting up there in age too, so it's not something you shouldn't think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So like, Will Lutz is 6% better in his entire career for field goal kicks, but when you look at the playoffs, Will Lutz is actually 68.2% in the playoffs, which is horrible. And Jason Elam is 84.2%.
Flip
in
the
the
switch,
90s.
right? You just flip the switch on that. Wow.
So
Wow.
it's like, I'm saying, man, it's different. He's a completely different kicker in the playoffs, and that's the only thing that worries me with Will Lutz. So
Yeah. I think Elam was the first person to ever kick a 51 over 50 yarder in the Super Bowl. If I remember right. I think Elam was the first kicker to ever kick 50 or more yards in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Oh,
in a
yeah,
in
it wouldn't
a Super
surprise me.
Bowl.
It wouldn't surprise
Yeah.
me.
Because
It
at the
was
time,
cash. Yeah,
That's
he had
cool.
a 51 yarder in the first year in the Super Bowl. Yeah,
yep.
that's so cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, he was dope. 2 of 2 from 50 plus. But yeah, Will Lutz 68% in the playoffs. Is,
That ain't great.
oh man, now you got me tripping. Maybe we should move on from his ass.
We want to win Super Bowls. We don't want to be missing.
No,
kicks
if we
and
moved on from
getting
Will Lutz,
exited
we would
because of
literally
that.
lose. We would literally lose $6 million in cap space. So he's not going.
Yeah, it's
anywhere.
not happening.
But you
Not
just gotta
this
hope
year.
that
He just
he's
got-
gonna
yeah.
be good.
He's golden.
Yep. All right, fellas. Well, we're just coming up on the hour, man. It's been a pleasure. It's been
fun.
so much fun riding with you guys. Dak, thanks for joining. Guys, everyone
you,
that's
bro.
been tuning in, be sure go follow Dak on Twitter. Dak, tell them about where they can find you on YouTube, on X, and all that. He's one of the best X follows. I'll tell you that.
Appreciate that, bro. You can find me at Denver D Mark on Twitter. Go find me on the podcast, but at Buck and Pod, and at Orange and Blue Network. I got Broncos Bros on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then now that the season's ramping up, Buck and Pod will be pushing out more content and stuff. So
Let's go.
check us out, man. It's gonna be fun. Thank y'all.
Yeah, appreciate it. Jeremy, you got anything you cooking up, man, or just a message for Broncos country as we get into camp? Are you going to be going to any camp, by the way? Are you going to any?
Not that I know of. We're actually taking a vacation for the first time in a little while. From the 10th to the 17th, which is like a Monday to a basically Tuesday morning. We're gonna hit Hawaii. So that'll be
Oh, that'd be beautiful, man.
I gotta gear up for the season, right? That's my like
Hell
Off
yeah.
season.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, it was of all like the international places that I've gone, and dealt with the time difference and all of that. For some reason, Hawaii's time difference screwed me up more than any of the international spots. It's
Wow.
the weirdest thing. So just be prepared for that. But you'll
Are
have a
you
good time.
wow? Are you an early riser?
Typically, yeah. My wife
That's what
ain't,
it
but
is.
there I would do. We were up at 4 a.m. I was
That's what
up
I'm saying.
chilling, ready to
Yeah.
rock at 4 a.m.
Yeah, my
was-
daughter. We went when she was like 3 or whatever, and she'd wake up 3:30, 4 a.m. every single day because
It's crazy.
to her she's like, this is 7 or whatever, or 8. It's 4 hours earlier. So
Wow.
I'm the type of person that if you told me I had to sleep underneath this desk right now for 12 hours, I could.
Oh, you're like my wife, dog.
we'll
I'm so
see you
jealous
tomorrow.
of people like you.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I
It's,
can't
it's the
remember.
worst. Everybody
I
hates
can't
us.
remember the last time I slept 8 hours, dude. I can't. Dak, are you going to training camp?
I'm not going to training camp, unfortunately, but I am trying to go to the Alley Rams Broncos game. So
Nice.
hopefully I'll
Yeah,
be
that'd
there
be
for
dope.
that. Mhm.
I'm gonna see if I can get like random training camp tickets. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not the biggest fan of just sweating my ass off and watching guys run around and all the fans. What always drive me
Go to the
crazy
gym for
about
that.
camp.
Yeah, you don't hang out in locker rooms.
Yeah, what always drive me so crazy about camp too, man, and like, I always found it so cringy. I don't know why. Is like the players are warming up. Sutton's running like he's jogging down the field against nobody. A ball comes up like he catches it, and they're like clapping for him. I'm like, really, guys? Like, you're gonna clap for that? He didn't even he genuinely didn't do anything. I don't know why that always bothered me. But don't be
I will
that
say-
person if you go to camp.
I will say this though: the last time I went to Broncos training camp was the season of 2015, and they ended with the Super Bowl win. So maybe
Uh-oh.
I should go visit. just for a
Bro,
moment.
cancel your freaking Hawaii trip.
Yeah, what's important here?
Yeah, what the hell? Go to that. No, that would be maybe you are. I mean, you're very superstitious. You're like me, so
Yeah,
I
actually,
might
you know
force your
what?
ass to go.
You know what? I think it was actually the year before. I think it was 14 because Wes Welker was. I remember Wes Welker there, and he was catching he was trying to catch as many punts as he could. Like he'd catch one and hold it,
Oh, like
stick
hold it,
catch it, and he caught like 5. And I'm like, he's so little, and he was. It was insane. It was like a
Yeah.
circus trick or something.
Yeah, how funny. All right, so maybe we don't need you to go.
Maybe, yeah. It's not a
Right.
streak. It's not a streak.
Yep. Well, anyways, man, I appreciate you both. Everyone in the chat, you guys have all been awesome, man. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see y'all next week, man. Peace.
See
Absolutely.
you guys
Go
later.
Broncos.
Thank y'all. Have a good one, you
Yeah,
guys.
thanks. Thanks, Dad.
Later. Of course.